you can have a subscription to your favorite creators. And that helps them because they now are making a steady income. It helps the fans because they can have a direct connection to the person that they want to support, and know that the money is going directly to them. Usually it comes with special access, that you get things that no one else gets in the public domain, or you get early access to things. And, you know, in a world where Disney owns almost everything nowadays and therefore can control everything that you see on your TV, this allows independent creators to not have to go by the demands of mass media. Closer to home, a Converge alumni company, Recoil Knee Pads. This was a woman she was a student, and she noticed that her dad, who was a joiner, a carpenter, he had to kneel a lot in his work, and it was causing serious damage to his knees. And she had seen a lot of her dad's workmates and friends who had to retire sooner than they would have liked because they were practically disabled because of bad knee pads. They were either cheap and therefore fell apart a lot, they had to replace them a lot, they didn't really provide the support for the knees that was required, or there were the really good knee pads, but they were super expensive and people couldn't necessarily access them. She used her product design skills to design a knee pad which removes a huge percentage of the pressure off the knee, is much more comfortable, and is much more affordable, so that workers like her dad could work for longer, be healthier, and when they do retire, they can still move and don't need a knee replacement. You might have noticed, I think it's still downstairs, there's a bunch of colorful bricks. This is a Harriet Watt spin-out company called Kenetech, and they identified the problem that bricks are a huge contributor to climate change in a couple of ways. Well, construction industry is a contributor to climate change in a couple of ways. One is that the production of bricks is carbon intensive. You need to burn a lot of fuel to make them. And the construction industry creates a lot of waste, which is mostly not recyclable. So it ends up in landfill. Kenetech have pioneered a method for making bricks from building waste, which is much less carbon intensive than traditional brick making. So it has a huge potential for much greener construction industry. And finally, we have BioLiberty. They are based in the Robotarium. And the founder of BioLiberty, his auntie had a stroke. And it affected one side of her body, where she lost most of her grip strength in one hand. And even with physio and rehab, she still had reduced grip strength in her hand. And that really affected her independence. She needed someone to always help her with, boiling the kettle and all that kind of thing. So he was an engineer, and he created, along with some friends, a robotic glove that helped to provide greater grip strength, and which also helps with the rehab exercises. So it helps to get them more independent. And that can be anyone who has any kind of grip issues, whether it's a stroke, arthritis, MS, anything like that. So these were all founders who identified a problem and created a solution using their knowledge and expertise to be able to address them. Any questions on that before we move on to the exercise? Okay. This is going to be a little bit challenging with the number of people, but hopefully it will work. So I think we were going to break into groups, hopefully. I think there's going to be a couple of big groups online, but also I think this is one you can potentially do yourself. You need to pick a number between 1 and 12 twice. So you might pick 2 and 5, or whatever you want to do. We're going to have 2 different slides, one which will be your thing and one which will be your theme. So you're going to get a thing and a theme, and you're going to put them together and start generating ideas. This is a bit easier than me kind of providing a problem for you and you trying to come up with something, especially with this number of people. So hopefully this will work. So you're going to create a product or service that incorporates your chosen theme and thing. And you're going to think about how that product or service can benefit humanity. So associate a problem that your idea can help to solve. So I'll give you an example. Let's say the thing that you get is a plant pot and your theme is the weather. Okay? So you might come up with a problem that climate change makes it harder to keep plants healthy due to more extreme weather events taking place. So it might rain much more than normal, or the sun is much hotter and therefore is drying out the plants. So your solution, we've invented a plant pot that reacts to changing weather to protect your garden plants. So if you've got your garden plants in our pot, it will, our smart pot will take care of it. If it rains too much, the sensors in the pot will identify this and it will drain more water away. If the sun gets too hot, it will put out a cover so that your plant doesn't dry out. Okay? So that's the gist of the exercise, right? Rafi, are we doing teams? Are we doing individuals? Well, how do we want to do it?
In groups, we will do just show them on teams.
Yep.
We will ask them to just pick one from the group. We just divide them into two big block of groups and online groups.
Yeah. So in the room, just kind of turn to the sort of, 4, 5, 6 people around you, and come up with and pick your numbers. So the first slide is your things. So 1 is in the top corner and it goes across to 4, then 5 to 8, and then 9 to 12. So in your groups, pick a number and pick your thing. I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay. Has everyone picked a number? Picked a thing. Good. I'm going to take the slide away. I want you to pick the number. I don't want you to pick your thing. I want you to pick a random number between 1 and 12 so that you get a random thing. Okay? Has everyone got their number? Okay. You should all have selected a number by now. It's not that hard to pick a number. Yeah. I will go back to the slide once you have your number, okay? So pick your 2 numbers, in fact. Pick your second number as well. So another number between 1 and 12. So before I show the next slides, have your picture ready. Or your numbers ready, okay?
Have you got 2 numbers, folks?
All right. I'm assuming everyone has their number since you're all chatting. So I'll show this one again. This is your thing. So find your number. That's 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, 12. Okay. Everyone got their thing? Yeah, okay. Next number, that's your themes. Okay. Hold on for a second. Listen. So you should have. Sorry? The online groups, what about them? Yeah. So what is happening, guys? Listen. Okay, hold on. Stop chatting for just a second, please.
Guys!
No! Listen.
It's
Okay.
not hard to pick a number.
So you shouldn't have had. You should have picked two numbers, and you now have your thing and your theme. So now what I want you to do is think about your idea. So prepare to report back. We won't have time for everyone to report back, but we'll take some volunteers. So you need to think about what your mashup was. So tell us what your thing and your theme were. What was the problem that you identified, and what is your solution? So these are some suggestions of how you might frame your ideas, okay? So you are going to have 20 minutes?
Possibly, yeah.
20 minutes to come up with, so you can introduce yourselves, you can chat about your theme and your thing, come up with your idea, and we will ask some volunteers to report back in 20 minutes. Any questions? Okay.
Just a little bit after the slides online can see.
Which one?
This side, Nilofer. We'll keep it here for online. Yeah.
Which one?
Okay. I'll take a picture. Okay, next one.
Repeat.
There we go.
Does that work? Okay. Online, can you hear us okay?
Guys, let's focus.
Okay, we're ready for our first one.
Right.
Lamp?
And here.
Back.
Lamp
Hello.
and green
Yes, Lisa,
energy.
we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you. So lamp and green, can you hear our volunteer? He
Are
was
they
talking on
speaking yet?
mic.
No,
Can you hear him
I
now?
don't hear you at the moment.
Okay,
No.
okay, sorry. I'm just gonna have to repeat what he's saying because it's a little quiet and then the little mic doesn't seem to be working.
That's fine.
Okay,
Just speak a wee bit louder so we'll repeat it.
so it was lamp and green energy. Actually, yeah, maybe here and then the online can hear. I'm not sure why the little mic's not working.
It's going on, please. Fine.
So, okay. So what we've invented,
Okay, guys, come on. So it was lamp and green energy, and the invention was?
the invention that we came up with as a group was solar lamps. We are trying to solve the problem of huge electricity bills and the wastage of energy. So what we wanted to come up with was a 360-degree solution from the gathering the energy and then utilizing it in our buildings or anywhere where lamps is needed. So how this can help us? Normally in a real case scenario, you would have solar fields out in big areas, and from there you would transport the energy from into a battery pack or something, and then you distribute it to all the buildings, right? We wanted to give out to users a full-fledged product where we'll provide you the panels as well as the product that works together in together with the lamps as well. In this way, the lamps would also be smart enough to detect the motion of people in the room and accordingly save out the electricity bill. Yeah.
Okay, so you have lamps that are basically they collect the solar power directly,
Yep.
so that you don't have to
You don't
transport
have to
the
transport
energy,
it. Yeah.
and also have motion sensors, so they'll only switch on when someone's in the room, and they'll switch off again when they leave.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Any other volunteers? Over there, yes, on the couch.
Come on in, Mike. Come here.
I'm loving how brave everyone is. This is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us your theme and thing, first of all.
Hi everyone. My team and I,
Hey guys, come on.
this. Tell me if I'm correct. I know we chose the fridge and health.
Fridge and health, okay.
Yeah, and yeah. So we came up with a solution and we called it smart freeze. So the problem we identified was cross-contamination in freezers for individuals. So when you are in the hostel, some of us were vegetarians, you just put your items up here, up there, and no one knows what's going on. Sometimes I buy stuff from Asda and I forget that they are expired. Sometimes I just get stuff and they rot in the freezer. So the idea we came up with, because I was speaking to one of my teammates and she spoke about her dad, who usually needs a freezer to actually keep his meds. So we thought about the idea, thought about the problem, and then we came up with a smart AI solution for our freezers. And the solution we proposed was AI for food safety. So what is this gonna do? Imagine a smart freezer with sensors inside, camera sensors that could detect the food items you put into it. Tells you, it could give you notifications that, look, the stuff you bought is about to expire. It's reading the date, it's checking the items that, oh, this is getting below the temperature, it's getting rotten and stuff like that. And it also tells you, especially for our vegetarian folks, when probably something you don't want gets into your freezer and you hear a bit, pop, pop, and it says, warning, cross-contamination, inevitable, or something like that. So that's the solution we came up with to detect food safety issues in our freezers using AI, models, computer vision, and sensors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sam. Is there an
Okay,
online?
we've got two people online who want to share their ideas. So Hamza, we'll come to you first, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you. This is Hamza. On behalf of my group, we are linking both the floor with environment.
Guys, pay attention.
Okay, floor and environment.
Yeah. What we have popped out and reached together is that a type of water absorbing floor system, which can be used for maybe smart and sustainable plant irrigation. The idea popped out from the example that you have shared with us earlier about the smart pots, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
This type of floor can be linked with it. The problem is that rainwater accumulates on floors, which leads to slippery surfaces and potential safety hazards. Maybe also inefficient irrigation system often resulted in wasted water and under watering. Let's say that we have designed an innovative floor system, maybe made from porous or absorbent material. I don't know what's it, but maybe we can work on. that help in absorbing the rainwater. This type of water will be channeled directly to the pots that you have explained before, so that we are going to maybe regenerate or maybe recycle this water in an eco-friendly system. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's very clever.
Thank you very much. And then next up, Natalie.
Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. The idea came from rubber duck and health. So the problem is we all know about the rubber duck and we all use that sometimes, when we were babies. So the problem is that the bath time can become very unsafe because as parents, we sometimes give the rubber duck to children and then we can keep them busy and do something else. But the unsafe part can be the water can become either too cold or the water can be a bit too hot. The hair can be coming through the bathroom. The humidity can be in the bathroom. So all that is a bit difficult for parents to still sit there and monitor the child environment while the child is bathing. So the solution that we came up with could be a design that we call Navy Duck, okay? And that Navy Duck would be a smart rubber duck that monitors water temperature, bath hair quality, play calming sound, and connect to parents like an application we could make up for safety alert. So by doing this and making the bathing time very fun for the child and very safe, we're focusing on health and at the same time we're giving the parents a peace of mind. So that's the kind of idea I thought of my son, so that's why I'm thinking about all this.
That's fantastic. Very creative. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go for one more volunteer. Oh gosh, everyone wants to go. Okay.
Should we pick from here or here?
We can do two more then. Okay, so at the front here. Yep.
Just come here, be brave.
I wish I'd got screenshots of them now.
Okay.
Okay. So our mashup was carrots and farming.
Convenient.
So we were a little bit lucky with those two lining up with each other. The problems that we came up with is loss of nutrient content in food production. Basically, and also issues with water conservation. And in any solution where you're trying to solve that issue, we were trying to also take into account local mineral content, because the way a potato tastes from when it's been grown in Italy is different from the way a potato tastes when it's been grown in Scotland, stuff like that. So that's variations within nutrient mineral content within soils. So we're looking at from a water conservation perspective, also changing from being horizontal growing, traditional farming is on land. So going to more of a vertical farming using hydroponics, quite possibly. Being able to monitor and control nutrient content in water is slightly easier than being able to monitor and control that within soil. And also being able to go out and perform studies of mineral and nutrient content from different soils in different locales. So you can see from a chemical perspective, what are the differences from the different regions and what gives these different foods their different flavor properties, even if it is actually the same plant and the same varietal, because you're still going to get those flavor differences. So our solution is obviously for reducing the cost of farming and reducing the land usage requirements, producing a better quality of grown food by being able to control the inputs, if you will, for what goes into the food actually being grown. And being able to have a facility that can hold these kinds of farming practices, once you know what the prototype facility is, what it takes, how it runs, being able to scale that up once you have like a proven process. And obviously this type of thing will require not just technical solutions, but also people with specialized botanical knowledge and chemistry and so on and so forth. So it's actually a multidisciplinary process solution as well.
Okay, thank you. We've got one from Dubai room.
Yes. Hello, can you
Yep.
hear me?
Be louder, be louder.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Yep, okay.
Yeah, it's Dubai room.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, hello. Let's start with our.
Are we audible?
What?
Is we audible?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go for it.
Okay. Our inputs were chocolate and university. We've got an idea that there's a big problem of significant use of chalk, and it was a big waste of it in university schools, etc. So we have an idea that we could recycle and reuse the same chalk used in universities. We have an idea to create a machine with a desk inside to clean the desk after the chalk was used, to put it in the specific container under the desk, which is going to be recycling and reusing the same chalk. If some pieces are dropping, if some chalk is used, if like people use a lot of chalk, it's going to be all together in some small new piece and used later for the same purpose. So we are creating the same chalk from chalk. We are using it as much as we can. In this way, we could reduce use of chalk around the world in the universities, schools, and everywhere.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We have another one.
Okay, one more.
We'll make it quick, conscious of the time. This is the last one. Yeah, you can speak. The mic is up. Yeah, just stop taking.
Hey, all. So our thing was like car, and the theme was green energy. So I think the main problem in the
What was the thing?
car,
Car, okay.
yeah, and the theme was green energy.
Okay.
So basically, I think the problem will be emission of CO2 in the environment. So, and the main problem we thought about was replacing the fossil fuels with solar. So, but in the moving vehicle, it's difficult. But at the same time, we have this battery cars and battery two-wheelers running on the street, which are like getting recharged with electricity rather than solar panels. So like in UAE, we have like 5.5 hours of solar energy that we can capture every day in an average. So like using it for the parking and recharging batteries with that would be a great option. And the second was like when it comes to people prefer regular car because it's a long wait for recharging the battery. So how about a grab and go batteries that we use for two-wheelers? If we can design the batteries in a compact manner for even four-wheelers, cars, so the grab and go can work better.
It's already there in China, by the way.
There's actually a Converge company that has a swappable battery that's developing a swappable battery as well. So yeah, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate the enthusiasm of everyone wanting to share. That's really great. But unfortunately, we are running out of time. So I have a few more slides that I would like to share.
We will take the conversation to the WhatsApp.
Yes.
So that's the primary reason for having a WhatsApp. So everyone can vicariously listen to you and perhaps even criticize you badly.
Oh, no.
I did the motion.
Notes, is it not that one? Yeah. Okay, so back to this. So just a couple of little tips as you're thinking about this. the thing is not just an idea that kind of gets you going. In this case, it was that thing. You have to use it directly. So when you're coming up with your mashups and stuff like that, you'll get these slides. So think of other ones, pick other random numbers and bring them together and think about, right, how can I turn this thing in, and this theme into a product together? Here. So let's talk about the process a little bit. How did you find that process? There were some very creative ideas. Did you find it difficult to put the two things together? Did anyone find it that it took you a little while to really get into the zone of thinking about how you could put these things together? I think I talked to a couple of the groups, and I think that initially people maybe had there was an obvious choice of what to do, and then kind of thinking, yeah, but is that solving a problem? Where else can I take this? And I think that people started getting more and more creative. So the exercise of ideation, of just trying to be creative, of trying to think, how can I put these two things together, is, it helps get your thoughts flowing. And you might find that then when you would find a problem that you have expertise in, you've got a bit of a more open mind about how you might find a solution. I know that since I started doing this job and seeing lots of different solutions, when I run workshops like this, I'll come up with an idea that I'll be like, oh yeah, actually that sounds quite cool. I mean, something that I would never have thought of before. Practicing innovative thinking and creativity really makes your mind start thinking that way. I'm going to take a slight detour for just a moment to encourage you to think of things yourself and don't put them into ChatGPT. There have been several studies already that shows that people who over-rely on ChatGPT show cognitive decline in the long run. It makes you less creative in your mind. That's not to say never use it for anything, but when you're doing this idea generation stuff, try to do the exercise yourself. Exercise your brain. And don't just stick ideas into ChatGPT, think, oh, I'm sticking my mashup into ChatGPT. You can do that, but I would encourage you to bring your own creativity up to snuff. How did you find working in a team to come up with a problem and solution? I'm guessing a lot of you have been talking to people you've never met before. So any thoughts on that process? How did you find the teamwork? Yeah? Any frustrations? Were there any tensions in the group of people being like, oh no, I want my idea. No, I want my idea. No, everyone open and collaborative. Good. So, it can be a challenge sometimes working in a group. You've got to keep in mind, the personalities of people, but that having that open collaborative viewpoint of going in is really important. Were any of you able to use your own knowledge and experience? There might have been people who work in robotics and you maybe came up with a solution that involves robotics. I think there were probably some engineers who thought, I'm going to put some electronics into my rubber duck. I'm going to, maybe you have a biologist who thinks, oh, I'm going to put some biological sensors in this, So obviously this is a very artificial situation where you're given something and trying to come up with a solution and even the problem. But out in the real world, when you encounter problems, your knowledge and expertise will come into play. And it's about keeping your eyes and your mind open for those opportunities and seeing how, what you're able to do can then come in and do these problems to solve. So what comes next? Let's say that you've had in your chat today, you're like, actually, that was a good idea. Maybe I'll do something with that idea. Or you come up with your first idea once you encounter a problem. What is the next step? So I'd like to introduce you to design thinking. The design thinking mindset is all about having that problem situation and coming up with a solution and then iterating it and improving it so that the actual solution comes out. Your first idea may not be the right idea. But you've identified a real problem. And these are the kind of steps of the design thinking process. So first is the questioning. So that was, your first discussions of what is the problem here? It's talking, you have your active collaboration, you have co-creation, you speak to the people who are experiencing that problem. Maybe you're part of that group. Maybe you've experienced the problem. However, you're not the only person and your viewpoint is not necessarily the default. That can be quite a challenge sometimes to realize just because you're experiencing that problem does not mean that everyone who experiences that problem feels it in the same way that you do. So it's about speaking to a lot of people, understanding how they experience that problem, understanding their motivation to solve the problem. Some people are really desperate to solve it. Other people are like, I can get by. And then it's working with those people to understand how you can solve that problem, coming up with solutions together. Something that can be a challenge for scientists especially is thinking, I've got a cool thing, and the point is the cool thing. But actually you need to go back to the person, a people-centered approach where it's not about how cool the thing is, it's about how well it solves the problem. So you might have a thing that is really cool, but it's actually much more complex and expensive than what a person can realistically use. So having the people-centered approach is important. Then you prototype and you test it and you iterate it. Come up with something quick and dirty that proves the concept and say, here, how does that work? There was a group back there doing rubber duck for time management. I quite like that one. And it was, that gives you a timer and it helps you keep in touch with things. And then you squeeze it for it to stop quacking at you. Now you might find that, okay, we'll set it for this many minutes and it'll do this thing. But actually, maybe the person using it, they get so freaked out by the quacking that they're just anxious and expecting it. And then maybe they don't like it. So maybe it needs to buzz instead. Maybe instead of making a noise, it like bites their finger a little bit, So you just keep testing out different ways until you find a solution that really works. And then it's important to be able to communicate the solution, make people understand it. And that's, in a way, that's kind of your marketing. That's how you get it out and be able to communicate it creatively, visually, expand on the idea. This is the design double diamond, which is a kind of another way of putting it. And it has these sort of 4 stages. So first of all is discovery, understanding the issue rather than merely assuming what it is. So like I said, even if you experience the problem yourself, it's not about assuming that everyone can do it. You also need to understand how other people who are affected by the issues experience it. Then with that insight, you define the challenge. You may find that, there's a really big picture problem, but maybe there's one element of it that is much easier or more straightforward to try and solve. So you really kind of define back down. Example that comes to mind is actually not necessarily a business one, but a studies one. My husband, when he was a student, he was doing some tutoring for an undergraduate group. And one of the guys wanted to write his 1,500-word essay on the fall of the Roman Empire. A little bit of a broad topic. And the suggestion was maybe for your 1,500-word essay, you define down the problem a little bit more. Because you can't write a good 1,500-word essay on the fall of the Roman Empire. What you could maybe do is look at one small element of it and define down, and then you can write a really good essay on maybe a particular year and how the events of that year had an effect that led to the fall of the Roman Empire, for example. You then have developed. So this is where you start coming up with your solutions. This is where you talk to the people and say, right, how's this as a solution? How's that as a solution? And then you have your delivery. You make your different prototypes. You try them out. You say, okay, that part works, that part doesn't work. Get some feedback, make an improvement, give it another feedback, make another improvement. And you may find that you go right back to the beginning of the process again and see how it addresses the bigger picture. And then you go back in again and do all of your different changes. So that's just a very brief introduction to design thinking and the design process as to support your ideation. But that is basically that next step. And I think you've got another workshop about refining your idea in the future. So this is just kind of to set you up in the beginnings of that. And we've got like 5 minutes for questions if anyone has any questions. But that's all my slides. So happy to take any thoughts, questions, concerns.
Thank you, Lisa. So I know we took the feedback from last time. So not many people wanted to ask question, but they were actually wanting to ask question. I know I was confused with the feedback. So what I thought, let's put that to the bed. If you wanted to ask question, scan this away. That will take you to the UCLAB. Many people use them here in the university. So we will get to store that question so that we will try our best to answer it now. If not, we will agitate you with an answer later on in the WhatsApp group, positively speaking.
Yep, that sounds good.
Scan away, but if you have any questions in the room that you want to desperately get it out of the way, raise your hand and be loud. Anonymity works.
Oh, yeah, right there.
So how is Converge different, for example, than the in-house group that Hirvat has?
Okay, so the in-house group is where you go first, right? So they can help you from the start with your ideation process, with building up your idea, understanding the markets, all that kind of thing. Converge, we do like workshops like this, talk to lots of people. Once you have an idea and you're ready to develop it, you're maybe thinking about taking part in our program, that's when you would come to us. And we operate nationwide. So, if you're ready to come to our program, you can come to us. Now, we're happy to talk to people at any stage, but generally speaking, we will refer you back to the internal enterprise team because they're the ones who can do like the nitty-gritty work one-on-one with you to help you develop your idea before you're then ready for Converge.
Yeah, to palatably put it, we wanted to make sure that when you go access accelerators on the venture development program like Converge, we want you to shine and to have a best shot at it in 4 different streams that Lisa mentioned. So we will then be able to tell you, you actually very well fit in this stream. Why don't you just go for it? Or if you're not in that stream, but you're adamant about going to that stream, we will tell you, no, you're very early for that. We will be brutally honest. So that's what we are here to do. And then we're not only going to give you that feedback, we're also going to positively push you to get you there. So any more questions online? Online. Can you hear us online?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, and no question.
Go for it.
I just wanted to know at Converge, how do we know that when we choose one idea, that we're making sure that that idea is not only creative, but it can be done in real life? How do we make that balance? So
that is where the internal enterprise team is really useful because they can help you with that. I should mention for Converge, you have to have the intention to set up the business in Scotland. So that can be a little challenging, like for the Dubai and Malaysia campuses. So the intention would have to be to start the business in Scotland, and all the training does take place in Scotland. That said, for any kind of accelerator type program and things, you generally would only come to them once you've done a proof of concept, you've proven that it can work, and you now just need to develop the business side. So that's why we always say, go to the internal enterprise team first, and they can support you to get ready to apply for programs like this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
I think there was one more question in the room at the back.
One more question.
Is there someone back there?
You got it.
I have a question online.
Please.
Yes, online. Yes, go for it.
Thanks. My name's William. I had finished my MSc up at Heriot-Watt last year, and we did a lot of work during the tutorials and so on online as groups, because I was a distance learner, and here I am as a distance learner 500 miles south of you now. And I'd like to see that brought to this program so that we can online come together as a group and answer some of these questions together. I think it would be more beneficial to us.
Absolutely. We will take that on board. And then, have you got into the WhatsApp group yet?
I have, and I've told you it on WhatsApp group too.
Fantastic. So you should have my email address, and then just in my signature, there is an opportunity for you to book a meeting with me. So as everyone in the room.
I honestly, it's very kind of you, but I have a business to run, and I don't need to do that. But I have passed my note to you. I just want to be able to interact with people online as you do in person there, and it would be good if we could do that. I think we could add value.
Okay, I appreciate that. Point taken. Any the question from the room?
Of Converge. Yeah. So first there's an application form, and then that goes through a stage of judging to determine whether you're invited onto the program. Then once you're in the program, you get some training, and then you write a business case or a business plan, depending on the category you're in. That also gets judged, and then finalists get shortlisted out of the best business plans and business cases. And then the finalists will go through an additional judging process, pitching to external judges, and they're the ones who decide who wins the prize money. That will all come out in January. It's an online application process, and we'll be running info sessions and stuff about it.
So once you're looped into the Global Innovation Challenge, you're plugged into the enterprise team here. So you will get fed with that information. Scotland-wide accelerator program, so you will not miss it.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
So go for
one
it.
last. Yeah. Okay, so our Kickstart competition does not require you to start a business.
Sorry to interrupt, Lisa. You're on mute, so we've just missed that little last element. So if you mind repeating it, that'd be helpful. And also, while I've got you there, Rafi, if you could share the WhatsApp sign up screen as well. I think there've been a few requests about that as well. Anyway, Lisa, back to you. Sorry for interrupting.
Question was about international students not being allowed to start a business on their visas. So the basically what we say is that especially our Kickstart competition, there's not a requirement to start a business within any given time frame. So you can take part for the educational part, to test your idea, to start writing up a business plan, but not to actually run the business. In our advanced categories, it's kind of the same. You only have to start a business within 12 months if you win prize money. So we have had international students who participate ahead of then applying for an innovator founder visa, which is one of the visas that you can get to start a business in Scotland. So as long as you have a desire to set up a business in Scotland and it is your long-term intention to do so, then you can still apply for the program and take part. In Kickstart, you could win the prize money to help you build your idea, but you don't have to start the business immediately. So,
considering the time, I'm just going to stop it right here. Yep. Once again, thank you, Lisa. We really appreciate your time and patience.
Yeah. Good luck with the rest of the challenge.
Thank you. So yeah, before you all leave, I'm going to give a teaser for the next session, because Lisa kind of walked into that, which is know your market and reach them smartly. That is your third workshop. It's none other than Michael Haynes and Peter Graham. So one is going to approach this problem from the brand perspective and how to articulate a fantastic story that you can narrate it to your audience, in this case, customer. And the second one, how are you going to place that brand, i.e. the product, into the target audience? Not everyone under the sun will be your market. So Peter will attack that problem. So it is a double tag team. So do comment. And one quick note, if you're planning to be here in person, please read your recap email and sign up for the in-person attendance list. and we will love to cater you for the pizza and avoid any further chaos. Thank you once again, and happy to be here. Yeah. And Sam,
you.
I'm going to put the
Thank you
WhatsApp
very
code
much.
Thank you, Rafi. Well done, and well done, Lisa. That's great.
Cheers, mate.
Sorry, I have one more question, and I thought of it. Is there anything that changes to intellectual property if we're with the global innovation challenge?
Chat. You keep your IP because
Okay.
you're a startup. You're not a spin-out. You're not working in a research within the university. So